We had a blast at StarCast 6. A huge thank you to everyone who attended. And if you want to relive our stage show experience, you can with Premier Streaming Network. Over 20 stage shows took place StarCast weekend. From comedy shows, design panels, musical performances, talk shows, and more. Including a live edition of AEW Unrestricted with CEO Tony Khan. Sign up for Premier Streaming Network today and check out the shows available now on demand and in HD. And if you sign up today, you'll get 2 months free of Premier Plus. Enjoy the amazing lineup of content that Premier Streaming Network offers, including all 5 previous StarCast stage show lineups. Hundreds of hours of fantastic wrestling content at your fingertips. Visit StarCastOnPremiere.com.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hello and welcome to ARN. This is Paul Bromwell, and today I'm joined by the Hall of Famer, the founder of the Four Horsemen, creator of the Spine Buster. He's the 1A of tag team wrestlers. He's our TV champion. He's the enforcer. He's AA. He's Arn Anderson. Arn, great to see you. And as this show drops, you and Brock are at Granite Con in Manchester, New Hampshire.
I like first. This is a first.
Yes.
We have not ever been there and done one of these thank yous. And that's basically what it is. It's a 3-day thank you for all the fans that have made it possible for me to have a 40-year career and hopefully support Brock on a long career. And we appreciate y'all. And we're going to get a chance to tell you how much this weekend.
There you go. Listen, it's September 15th through 17th, as I said, when this drops on the main feed. If you're on the fence in the area, go see him. Arn can't wait to see you, shake your hand, and give you that picture, autograph, whatever you have for him. But we know that AA loves meeting the fans and expressing gratitude towards all of you. So take advantage of this opportunity. And as I said last week on the show, we're going to continue to make sure that you're aware of upcoming signings so that you can meet Arn, meet Brock, shake their hands, get your pictures, share your memories. I think that's some of what you enjoy the most, is being able to hear the fans talk about some of their most favorite memories of your career, Arn.
Most common things said to me, thanks for being a big part of my childhood. I hear that a lot. What's Ole doing, for God's sakes? So the childhood things, I get some great stories from folks that are their grandfathers and their son and the grandson, 3 generations that they're passing it down. Man, I just love that. It is okay to be a wrestling fan, folks. Trust me. It is all right. And can't wait to see you guys and just tell me your stories. Can't wait to hear them.
There you go. Listen, by the way, make sure you're prepared to meet him, and there's nothing like AA likes to see than wearing the merch, whether it's Arn merch, for Horseman merch. I'm sure, Arn, you pick him right out of a crowd as soon as you see him in line.
Oh, yeah. It makes me feel good, and they're wearing them proudly, and the hats have caught on for all you hat wearers. That's good work. The white ones are on fire. Those that like black hats that might smudge them or whatever, or may get drunk and fall down in the mud hole. I don't know. Black may be your color, but they're starting to catch on. People are enjoying them, and that was the whole purpose behind it anyway, Paul.
Yeah, hey, there you go. And we got them all. We got all the colors. You got the, hey, by the way, we're in September, which it's fall and winter season. Make sure you're prepared with that new Horseman jacket as well, too.
And get your order in early so that when it does turn off cool, you're prepared. They're like, if we try to log jam them, get around Christmas time, our folks get a little bit behind. So let's get ahead of the game, guys. Let's be smart.
There you go. Jackets are in 12 different colors. Check out all the new T-shirts, the new designs, and we appreciate all your support. I know Arn does as well.
do.
He loves to see it for sure. So there we go. Listen, Arn, last week we took a time out from the week-to-week walk through your career to pay our respects to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt and the amazing careers that they had. Both of these men left indelible marks on the business, and it won't be forgotten. And so I just wanted to say thank you all. We hope you enjoyed that episode as much as we did. It got a little emotional there at the end, Arn, but I know it was important for you to do that show.
Like I said at the beginning, I don't think we could ever do them justice, but we tried, and we love you guys, and we owe you.
There you go. Well, listen, this week, how fitting is it that we pick up the coverage of your career, May 1993, Arn, where you took on the namesake of Bray Wyatt, his uncle, Barry Windham, for the NWA World title. I think that's a pretty cool connection there. Bray Wyatt's mom, Barry Windham's sister. It's just unbelievable, the wrestling thread in the family there. But before we get into Slamboree 1993, I'm sure it's an event that you will remember for a long time. Slamboree 1993, a Legends reunion. I'd like to begin this week's discussion with the segment that we teased 2 weeks ago, and that is a Flair for the gold. And Arn, I don't know if you caught this or not, but I was watching Payback, WWE Payback recently, a Saturday night pay-per-view, and Cody came on, and he was on one of the talk shows there, and he mentioned talk shows that made a big impact on him and that he enjoyed. And he said, and the one I liked the most, it was a quip about his favorite, a Flair for the gold. And he mentioned a Flair for the gold right there on Payback.
Is that right?
Yes, he did, as his
That's
favorite.
a hell of a plug. I'll take it.
Yeah, and we got all the clips this week for a Flair for the Gold for those of you that want to check it out. And just as a reminder, Flair had left the WWE in January 93, and as part of his release, he wasn't allowed to wrestle. We've talked about that, but he could appear on TV and pay-per-view for the company. So Dusty, he was geniusing. He came up with the Flair for the Gold talk show as a means of keeping Ric Flair on TV, allowing Nate to have that vehicle to bring up the top-line creative and bring it to life, if you will. And today we have the first Flair from the Gold, which was taped in April but did not air until May 8th, 1993. It was on WCW Worldwide, and in our first of 5 clips this week, Arn, we're going to take a look at the very first Flair for the Gold. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Flair for the Gold with your host, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Tonight's special guest will be NWA Heavyweight Champion Barry Windham. And now, Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Baby, I love you. You never look better. Double A, I tell you, we're gonna cook tonight. And I promise you, the greatest show on earth is the Flair for the Gold. No, it's not the China Club. No, it's not the Rupert's in Atlanta. It is Penthouse Paradise. I am the Nature Boy. This is my show, and we are live. Woo! Let me assure each and every one of you out there, this is living in the fast lane. Now, before I bring out my guests, last week we got 10,000 letters, men all over the world asking me to bring Fifi out one more time. Fifi, come on, baby. We are styling and profiling. We are Flair for the Gold. We are Penthouse Paradise, and standing right back here, none other than the Enforcer Double A. Now we all know that Slamboree is on the horizon, May 23rd. It is Double A himself. against Barry Windham for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. Tell him, Double A.
Well, Rick, I don't want to kill the mood. This is your show. You can have who you want as a guest. Nothing I can do about that, but let me tell you one thing. The talent that you got sitting around here is just a heart attack waiting to happen, my friend. You have over-exceeded yourself this time, but Barry Windham, I've got to put my focus on you for 1 minute. You see, I've never had in my entire career a shot at the NWA title. Now it's come to our attention that you don't need him anymore. You don't need me anymore. You won't even recognize the fact that you were once a Horseman. But Barry Windham, I do have one shot at you, my friend, and I'm going to make that one shot count.
There we go. But now, I promise the world the greatest party ever to be seen on network television. You know, I used to tell y'all that I had Linda on my left and Mary on my right. Well, with this crew, who knows who the Nature Boy will be with when it comes midnight. Ready to party, girls? Woo! All right, all right. Hey, am I really better looking, Richard Gere? Well, you're a lot better looking than Sidney Crawford, huh? Better looking than Sting, huh? I'm all the way. Hey, baby, get that phone, honey. Can you imagine someone jumping in now? Barry Windham will be here anytime.
I know. Rick, telephone.
Somebody's on board. Hey, bring it here.
Okay, hurry.
You be breaking this up. Hello. Huh? What? What? Hey, Barry, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. I asked you to come out here on the show, Barry, because I wanted you to get together with Double A. I wanted to put the, what? What? You're telling me you're not going to be, this is my, Barry, don't hang up, Barry.
Hey, I told you. What did I tell you? He's not coming. I told you he wasn't coming. I told you he wouldn't show up.
Barry Windham hung up on the Nature Boy. He turned all this down.
I told you. I told you.
I'm through. All right, get the girls out of here, man.
Oh, wait, hey. Listen.
We're here to party.
We got the girls, Nate.
We're here to party.
Forget about Windham. We got the bars. We got the booze.
Come on.
Hey.
You're right.
Hey.
I'm momentarily overreacting. Barry, we'll see you in another lifetime, pal. Girls, let's rock and roll. Woo. All right. Come on, baby, pour the champagne. All right. Here we go. Here's to you, Double A. All right. Here's to you, girls. Time roll, baby.
Arn, this is, what do you think, man? What are you thinking?
I know I hate suits. I hated that tux.
But you were styling and profiling, brother.
Looking pretty good for an older guy, right?
You were looking. Hey, listen, if this whole wrestling thing didn't work out in '93, I think you were ready for Young and the Restless.
Well, his gig was always having the women around. I just did the fighting. That was a little off character, but what the hell?
It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. And listen, so Barry calls in, he cancels it, which, they're using it as a vehicle to advance the storyline, right, between the two of you. Now he's too good, doesn't want to show up, doesn't want to be a part of you, he snubs you guys. Do you think the segment accomplished what it was intended to do here?
Yeah, because you didn't have to have it. It aggravated the situation that was coming up, the match, without having to have physicality. Because if you bring, the standard deal is bring him out and, he would have probably ripped the suit off of me or whatever, standard stuff. This was a little bit less than and a little bit more believable.
I like it. Yeah. What did you think of the overall production value of this show?
Well, to be on such a non-budget.
Sure.
And just basically put it together ourselves, I thought it was fine. It was entertaining. It was certainly not as rotten as the snowstorm with Sting and Vader, right?
Exactly.
The strap match up in the mountains.
Yeah, the mountains, which, oh man, our research guy right now, he loved that. Oh, I love it right now, his reaction.
Oh, I felt so bad for Sting when I saw that.
Yeah, this is definitely better. This is definitely in the vein of the Piper's Pits and the Flower Shops and the Snake Pits and those types of shows.
Yeah, it was a lot less aggressive, and you didn't have to do too much. It was what it was.
It fits Flair style.
It's a Tonight Show clip. That's all.
Well, listen, during the segment, fans are also introduced to Fifi, the real-life Wendy Barlow. So, we've come to know her as Flair's long-term, or should I say life partner, whatever they are now. They're married, they're divorced, but she still works a lot with Flair. So that's kind of cool, too. And she would go on to be Flair's valet. So that you have that. And so just fun. And we've got a couple more clips here, Flair for the Gold. We have another clip coming up from May 15th, 1993. And ARN, listen, the Hollywood Blondes, Stunning Steve Austin and Flying Brian Pillman, they make an appearance on the second Flair for the Gold. And this segment aired on May 15th on Worldwide. Are you ready to see the Blondes on the Flair for the Gold?
Those guys are great together. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, here we go. Let's check it out.
Promised the World Tag Team Champions, Flying Brian and Stunning Steve Austin, the Hollywood Blondes. Here they are. Woo! All right. Flying Brian, how are you, brother? Good to see you. How you doing, Rick? God, you hurt today, didn't I? No, you got a pretty good grip for a young fella. How you guys doing? Good. Hey, I can't tell you, we're thrilled to death to have you on the show. You know, Brian, I've known you 5-6 years now, brother. You're finally at the top of your game. Steve just caught your act in the last couple of months, but Double A tells me you could be the man someday, brother. You got the straps now. You're the champ. Yeah. You're on
Premonition.
Top. What do you think, huh?
That feels good to be on top, Rick, but before we get started, I just want to say that Brian and myself have been on sets everywhere. And this is top-notch. This is the best I've seen. You've done well for yourself, old man.
I know, Steve.
Man.
He's a little stuffy in here to me. He's a little stuffy in here. Like, I feel like I'm in a museum.
You got some great antiques here, Rick. How much you pay for that old statue over there?
Steve, anyway, Rick, you've had a fabulous career. What was it, 6, 7-time world champion?
9 times, Brian, 9 times.
Yeah, but actually, could you do me a favor? Yeah. Could I get your autograph? Mind you, it's not for me. My great-grandmother is a big fan of yours.
Oh, gee, Brian, well, for the sake of your great-grandmother and for the sake of people that grow old, we all grow old, but very few of us get great, Brian.
Hey, speaking of great, I was in the history books just the other day, and I was looking back, way back, when you, Rick, and Double A were part of a elite organization. Was the 4 Clovers, the 4 Hunchbacks?
No. The 4 Horsemen.
Oh, you mean that famous backfield from Notre Dame?
Well, similar. We did about the same thing for wrestling they did for Notre Dame. We blazed our own path right across the country. We dominated.
Well, you dominated, Rick, but that was yesteryear. That's all in the past.
Well,
If the 4 Horsemen were around today, they wouldn't stand a chance because the Hollywood Blondes are the team of the 90s. You're looking at it right here.
Well, listen, you know what? I didn't bring you out here to run you down or anything else. I want to talk about, and I'm sure the folks out here want to talk about Slamboree 93. You got Shane Douglas, you got Ricky Steamboat, you got the steel cage. You're looking at you guys. You ready for the match?
Look, Rick, we've already given Steamboat and Douglas a brush with greatness. Let's not lose sight of the fact of the real reason we're all at Slamboree. Thanks to the generosity of Steve and myself, we're flying in all those has-been, washed-up old-timers, these so-called legends who are falling on hard times, and we're going to bring a nice, hot, home-cooked meal to them. And I got to believe your right-hand man, old Double A, might be first in line at that buffet because it's obvious he hasn't missed too many meals lately.
That's it. That's it.
No, wait.
Double A, Double A.
Hey, brother, we wouldn't want to let this slide tonight. We got a hot show going here. You guys, you know what? You got to remember one thing. You were the guest on my show.
Let me tell you, you're out of line and you're out of your league on this deal, pal.
Now, this isn't worth this, Double A. Like I said, you guys are the guests on my show. We're not going to take this. You sit down, we'll forget the whole thing ever happened. Let's keep talking here now.
No. I got to say, Arn, who are we kidding? You guys are going to be there, too. You get together with the rest of the old codgers, maybe after the meal, play some checkers, choose some raisins, maybe soak the dentures. You guys can have a swell time.
Is that right, huh?
Yeah.
You guys are coming across pretty good right now. Maybe we should talk about this a little more seriously.
Well, maybe I was getting ready to ask you a question, Rick. Maybe before you blow that pacemaker, you tell Brian and myself, are you ever going to break out those mothballed old trucks you use with the wool on them and get that robe that's made out of pterodactyl feathers and get back in the ring, or can you cut the mustard?
Oh, is that right? Well, maybe I can break that stuff out right now, and I can show you how to cut the mustard.
Get him a Geritol on us.
A Geritol on us? You guys are stars on my show. This is my show. Geritol on us. Two punch the cowboy boots the cheek. This is my show. 9-time world champion. Beat me on the moon.
Calm him down, baby.
What is this kind of talk? You bring guys out here trying to make stars out of them. Beat me, this is my show. Have some respect. Jeez, I can't get over this.
Calm him down,
coming at us from all
Calm him
sides
down,
here. I'm trying to keep myself together and making a rough on the guy. Huh? Double A?
Oh boy. Well, hey, listen, first thing, Double A tells me that you could, be a big star one day. I mean, how good was that?
That was a premonition that turned out to be true, huh?
Ah, man. Listen, how good was it, though? The smart asses, Brian Pillman and Steve Austin, throwing all those jabs at you guys.
Well, yeah, that's how you get heat.
Yes.
Baby faces don't understand that. You got to put yourself behind the 8 ball so that the fans are clamoring to shut these guys up. Simple formula.
Arn, we're going to pause and talk about our favorite sponsor once again this week. That's right, it's Blue Chew time, and they're here to make sure you're delivering that spine buster, putting that spine to the pine every single time the right way, and making sure you're prepared to do so. And they have a special offer for the listeners of the Arn Show. Isn't that right, Arn? Arn? Well, guys, Arn's not around right now. I think he's taking care of business, if you know what I mean. And I want to make sure you have the opportunity to take care of business too. Guys, Blue Chew is an online prescription service. No visits to the doctor's office. We talk about it every single week. No weird conversations. You don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. And remember, the biggest perk and benefit of this, it ships right to your door in a discreet package. So listen, go to bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers. They're just going to ask you a few questions, make sure you're good, your health's in order, and you can take it. And once they verify that, it's going to be at your door within days, all done online, very easy. And if you don't like swallowing pills, no big deal. The tablets are chewable, very easy to consume. So give it a try, guys. Listen, we hear a lot of folks that listen to our show that have reached out to us directly through our show DMs and said, guys, you are spot on with what you've been talking about with Blue Chew. We have a lot of fun with it on the show, but I'm telling you, it takes away the worries, the anxiety, the stress, and helps you perform the way you want to perform, like a Hall of Famer like Arn Anderson. So there you go. Check it out. BlueChew.com can make sure you're able to perform at your very best every time. You get the opportunity to have fun, and here's a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ARN. That's right, just those 3 letters, ARN, at checkout. You just pay $5 shipping. That's it. BlueChew.com, promo code ARN to receive your first month free. Once again, go to BlueChew.com for more details and safety info. Do you remember who was working with you guys behind the scenes on some of the scripting for some of this stuff?
All the verbiage was ours. We collaborated with those 2 guys, obviously,
Yeah.
Pillman was really good on the stick. Austin was good on the stick. It's a no-brainer. What do you guys think? Yeah, we just we're winging some of it.
I mean, they were coming up with all kinds of one-liners. Look at the statue over there, and you just kind of doing the whole selling the bit. It was great. It was good stuff. Listen, before we move on, this interaction with the four of you began the story where you and Flair would challenge the Blondes for their tag titles, which obviously it's going to happen, right? It's at an upcoming Clash of the Champions. This would also be Flair's big return to the ring, which we're going to spend some time on next month. But for now, how excited were you and Flair to have the opportunity to work with Pillman and Austin, knowing, as you said, the caliber of talent both of these guys were?
It was new, it was fresh, it was first. We were thrilled.
You, the past two shows, Arn, we've discussed the cramp in your hand. Inevitably ended with you flashing the four fingers, the sign for the Horsemen. You told us that when Flair returned, it was a no-brainer for both Ole and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, to put the Horsemen back together because of the huge business that you guys did as a group already in JCP and WCW. This time, though, you guys worked as you're being baby faces here, and it appears, with that in mind, we have arguably the most controversial choice as a Horseman, Paul Roma. And our third clip of the week from the Slamboree pay-per-view and before your big match with Barry Windham, let's see exactly how Paul Roma joins the Horsemen.
Without further ado, let me bring out the man who will soon be the next NWA World Heavyweight Champion, my best friend, the Enforcer, Double A, Arn Anderson. Double A, you are styling and profiling tonight. Something going on, brother?
Well, Rick, as you know, Barry Windham has been snubbing you. He's been snubbing the Horsemen. He's even been snubbing this show. But Barry Windham, in a short while, and I mean in a short while, you're not going to be able to snub me. This is my shot, my one shot. And rest assured, as you look in these eyes, I'm going to make it good.
I guess what he's saying, Barry, is after tonight, BW, you and these girls over here be calling Double A the champ, brother. That's the way it is. Now, Double A, you know, I told you there was a little bad news tonight. The bottom line is Barry Windham has pulled something cute on me. Blanchard's not going to show up. So you know what? Don't get down. Don't get down because the show only gets bigger and better. Double A, you go back here with the girls. But brother, you can't have a drink till after the match. You just talk to him, okay, buddy? You girls keep Double A dry, okay? Now, the next Horseman is a man who generally is a legend in his own time. Our mentor, my cousin, the legend, Ole Anderson. All right, hey, in a tuxedo and all. Brother,
You know,
what's the occasion, Ole?
I tell you what, I'm all dressed up for a party with you. I gotta be dressed. But I did not tell you before. I said you can't trust Windham, and Windham got to that other kid, Tully. And I tell you what, it makes me hot. I've said it time and again. You gotta watch him. You can't trust him.
Well, Ole, listen to me say this to you. Take a look around behind you one time, Rock. It's Penthouse Paradise.
Hey.
It's a Flair for the gold. You forget about Tully. Forget about Barry Windham. Have a seat right there, brother. Get your feet wet, because the party's going to keep right on rocking. Now,
Let you go. I'm gonna sit over here for a second.
Hey,
Be right there, girls.
Here is the special edition. My special guest tonight, and the newest member of the Four Horsemen, is legitimately one of those kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing, limousine-riding, jet-flying son of a gun that girls has kissed y'all and made you cry. I'm talking about none other than styling and profiling pretty Paul Roma. Come on out here, Paul. Hey, does he not fit the demographic? Keep screaming, girls. Don't be ashamed of it. Paul, welcome, brother, to the Horsemen.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. You know, I don't think these people really realize the thousands of wrestlers you had to choose from, and you chose me to be a part of the most supreme elite group in professional wrestling today. The symbol that stands for, and always will be, excellence.
Hey, it's the Four Horsemen, Paul. We got Fifi on our left, and we got the girls over here on our right. But before we get the party going, let me lay one thing down. Pillman, Austin, You want the Nature Boy, you got him. Because the tights are coming back on. And as the sun sets in the west, we're going to rock and roll because the Horsemen, woo, are reunited again. All right. Now, guys, hey, Double A, you got to abstain. The party's over here. Hello, girls. It's on, huh?
All right, we're going to spend some time breaking down this one a little bit because a lot happened in that 5-minute segment. So here we go. First, on this Flair for the Gold segment, you're all dressed in tuxes, making this event feel special. The issue with Tully not coming back is addressed right up front, putting the blame on Barry for Tully not rejoining the group. So let's talk about this a little bit. This is a different company than Tully had competed in and out of. It's been 5 years since he left Jim Crockett Promotions. Do you think the fans watching the product in 1993 knew who Tully was? And second, whether they knew him or not, would fans have gotten behind Tully as a babyface?
Would they have remembered him? Damn right.
Okay.
For sure. And had he came back, I got a feeling we would not have went that route, baby faces. We would have went another route. We were winging it. We was on the fly. You know, it was an all-day affair figuring out if he was coming or not. And, you know, that final meeting, whatever was decided or was not decided or whatever got in the way, came in a private meeting. To this day, I don't know exactly what happened.
How it all went down, yeah.
But I can tell you this. When you said no Tully Blanchard, you let the air out of that balloon.
I'm sure.
That would have been something that I would have not done. Let them know in advance that it's going to be less than. Because anybody, I don't care who it was, would have been less than. You could have, at that moment in time, you could have put Ted DiBiase or Kurt Hennig or anybody. They would have been less than Tully because that's the group that got over. And Tully was as big a part of that as anybody else.
Well
Any
said.
of us.
Yeah.
And second place was not going to be good enough.
Next, I want to talk about the original, The Rock. Ole Anderson comes out and is named as the member of the Horsemen. And we don't get a signature program from Ole, but we all know the minute he walks out, he commands the respect of the fans who know who he is. They know what he's done for the business. But at this point, Arn, Ole's the booker. He's not an active wrestler here in 1993. To the best of your recollection, how and why was it decided to go ahead and make Ole come out that night as the third Horseman, just to give it more of that validity at this point?
Maybe to lessen the sting of not getting Tully, you at least got Ole, who was one of the originals, and people remembered that. And maybe it strengthened it up on one side where it caved in over here where you had Tully. That caved in, so maybe we can strengthen the group a little bit.
Makes sense.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me, to be honest with you.
It was interesting watching Ole's body language, knowing that him strutting out in the tux and kind of having that persona, it just seemed
out of character.
So out of character for him.
Well, and kind of me too, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of me too. But
okay.
But you kind of go along with it. You want to compliment the setting, and you know, once again, we're window dressing for Rick. You know, to compliment whatever he brings to the table.
Yeah, his style and his whole, everything that he does with the whole. Hey, listen, it brought styling and profiling to light. That four horseman lifestyle was on display.
Absolutely. I just think Paul, I think his time must have ran out up north, and he came to work here, and I don't think he had that in mind. I think that it was after the fact that he got there that somebody, would have been Dusty, would have said, I think, would have made that decision. Hey, let's put Paul. And now Paul looked, let's be fair, he looked the part, great body.
Good looking, great body.
Yep. Babyface skills, great drop kicks, power slams, power moves, all that stuff. But I just think that walking into the Horsemen, which you got to remember, what is the concept of the Horsemen? It's four guys making four other guys look better than they can make themselves. for a new guy coming in, that doesn't sound like a great future.
Sure.
You gotta
Yeah,
think
you're
about
going to
it.
be willing. You're going to be on your back at the end of a lot of matches.
Yeah, your job is to get everybody else over a while. He's just getting there. It's a new company. It's fresh. It's new. You know, and as you found out, as it went forward, and he moved on to get out of the Horsemen and get another partner, it was much more suited to him in his situation.
And I have a few more questions about Roma, but Nick Lenz, one of our listeners, he wants to know, Arn, why was Ole Anderson a one night only for this version of the Horsemen? And what were the plans that you know of for Tully if he were to come back to WCW and rejoin the Horsemen? You talked about that a little bit, but why the reason for Ole Anderson as a one night only?
Well, like we just said, to lessen the blow of Tully not coming.
Yeah.
That's all I think it could be. You know, and Ole was not going to be a full-time wrestler. Maybe it was one of those just to, you got to remember we were booking week to week, and a lot of stuff we were doing on the fly and putting Band-Aids on stuff. You know, Tully Blanchard not coming was a big deal.
It sounds like it. And when he didn't, like you said, there was, okay, we're just going to be baby faces and we're going to try a little bit differently. And you said that you're pretty sure Dusty would have been the person to make Roma, that fourth horseman, the idea guy behind that.
That would have been it. I think he was booking at that time. And that would have been his call. You know, and hey, the guy looked, you know, what you didn't see underneath that tux, the guy had a hell of a physique. I mean, he was jacked, strong. He could muscle guys around in the ring, superplex off the top, relatively no effort. He had the skills.
We have a couple listeners that have some questions about Paul Roma. So Terrell Lewis is first up. He says, with respect to him as a person and a performer, how quickly into Paul's tenure did you realize as a horseman it just wasn't a fit?
I'm not sure exactly when it was, but it was not too long. Plus, got to remember, I was a rotten babyface. I had no skills. And I mean, no babyface skills. So us being babyfaces, partners, brand new partners, it was basically just a gumshoe, stick them together and see how it flies. I don't know.
Scott Gold wants to know, we know Tully fell through and Roma was the choice as the fourth member. Was there anyone else considered that you can recall for that fourth horseman spot?
Well, again, it was backdoor meetings. You know, I was there. I wasn't going anywhere. Whatever they decided would have been fine. It was you didn't bring in those days. The booker didn't bring talent in and see if you agree with it. He would propose it, and if you disagreed with it, that was your time to speak up.
At that point on, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't beforehand.
You were just given direction. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going with.
They could have given me Baron von Raschke as the fourth horseman. God bless him. I love him. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think he's horseman material.
He would have brought the claw to the spine buster and the figure four, and it would have been something else.
I would have tried my best to make it work.
Right. And that's just, and then you know what, that just again speaks to your attitude as far as just, hey, I'm a team player and I'm willing to try anything that you ask us to do. I'm going to work hard at it. We're going to sell it. We're going to do as best job that we can do for whatever the company direction is.
Got to remember there was not a lot of options if you chose not to be there. There was not a lot of options. I'd already burnt the other bridge.
Yeah, that other bridge was burnt to the ground. So
for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Slamboree 1993. The event takes place at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, in front of 7,008 fans. Only 3,772 of those were paid, by the way. But despite the attendance and gate, the event was successful for several reasons. First, Sid Vicious makes his return to the company. He had left WCW in spring of 1991 following the War Games match where he power bombed Brian Pillman. My God, we'll never forget that vicious power bomb. And then he joins the WWF, makes his debut at Madison Square Garden as the special referee for the main event of SummerSlam 1991. The match was Hulk and Warrior versus Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, also known as the Iron Sheik, And it was a handicap match. General Adnan was in there too. But prior to that match, Warrior famously held Vince McMahon up for money. The match went on, and Warrior was fired immediately afterwards. Sid would go on to pose down with Hogan in front of a huge crowd and would work babyface. At one point, Vince said, hey, he's going to be my next Hulk Hogan, but Sid turned down the opportunity, saying, hey, I want to work heel. He and Hulk main evented WrestleMania, but he would leave soon after in the summer of 1992. So here we go, Arn. I got a what if for you. What if Sid had said yes to Vince about stepping into that Hogan role? He had the look. He worked sufficiently for the part. What do you think about Sid as the face of the WWF in 1992? Could he have pulled it off, do you think?
I don't know, but boy, it sure was a no-brainer, him being a heel. What a look. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, you're talking monsters. He was a monster.
He was for sure. Instead of being the face of WWF, he comes back to WCW here as a surprise. He makes his first appearance for the company in 2 years, and he immediately begins working as a heel, as he wanted to, and was paired with Colonel Robert Parker. And as for the match, he takes out one of your favorite all-time wrestlers, Arn. He takes out Van Hammer in 36 seconds. But listen, putting him with Robert Fuller, it's a great package, isn't it?
Big time. Colonel could talk his ass off, talking about entertaining. What a character he was.
Yeah, and I think the pairing with that talker with Sid's viciousness, amazing combo.
Big time.
We want to pause this episode of The Arn Show right now to talk about one of Arn and I's favorite things to do besides watching wrestling and football. We love sitting around the table with family and enjoying a good meal. And we want to let you in on a little secret. We found the key to dinner time success, and for us, it's all about variety. Well, HelloFresh has got it figured out. They keep your taste buds on their toes with 40 chef-crafted recipes to select from every week. From family-friendly to fit and wholesome, that's right, they got the cheat meals and the splurges all covered. You're guaranteed to always find new and exciting recipes to try and love. And this fall, we all know you got places to be, and standing in the checkout line is not one of them. So leave the meal planning and grocery shopping to HelloFresh. With pre-portioned ingredients and easy step-by-step recipes delivered to your door, you'll save so much time and cut out the hassle. I don't know about you, but it seems like my family is hungry all the time. Guess what? HelloFresh has that covered too. You can add snacks, sides, and more to your weekly HelloFresh order. Just simply shop HelloFresh Market and take your pick from a curated selection of over 100 add-on items. Man, that is a home run. I tell you what, between the kids, practices, school schedules, the shoot jobs, sitting down to record podcasts, time is of the essence in our household, and HelloFresh has saved the day. Between ease of use and variety, Arn and I both give our stamp of approval on HelloFresh. And you will too. Just go to HelloFresh.com/50ARN and use code 50ARN for 50% off plus free shipping. That's 50ARN. And join the revolution. It's America's #1 meal kit, so don't wait around. Take advantage of this exclusive offer to the Arn Show listeners and go to HelloFresh.com/50ARN and use code 50ARN for 50% off plus free shipping, and let them know the Enforcer sent you.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what AdFreeShows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-Free Shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.
Dylan asked a question. He wants to know what you thought of Sid as an overall performer.
I thought he was a great heel. You know, he was just putting him as a babyface or swimming upstream. It just, because he was not comfortable. And you got to be comfortable in your own skin in this business. If you don't feel it, if you don't live in it, it's not going to happen for you.
Well, Lauren, we talk about Sid. He's coming back, huge boost to the company, and things just keep getting better. Rick Rude makes his long-awaited return from injury, and he teams with Paul Orndorff, and the two of them defeated Dustin Rhodes and Kensuke Sasaki after Orndorff pushed Sasaki off the top rope, and the returning Rick Rude hits him with the Rude Awakening for the win. Rude goes on to feud with both Dustin, and later in the year, Ric Flair. How much did Rude's return help the company at this point, Double A? He's been out for months with a neck injury, but man, he seemingly never missed a day at the gym, buddy.
Brother, he looked great every time you saw him, right?
Oh, yeah.
There was no question about that, and he had star power, so you got to say it was a big plus.
The main event of the show saw Vader defend his world title against another new arrival, and yes, it's the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. You want to talk about talent in WCW at this point? The names that I'm reading are Hall of Famers from, with some of these guys that are here.
Yeah, you just got to position them right. Walking in the door, just writing names, and we've talked about this before, Paul. If you're going to book like a live event, just writing names against names, it's not going to help you. You got to have a personal issue. And that was the key. When you bring a Davey Boy Smith in, you got to give him an angle that works for him.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I mean, here in this match, Smith defeats Vader by DQ when Vader hits him with a chair outside the ring. And then Smith would hit the running power slam on Vader, but he doesn't get the win. But man, he's a big, powerful baby face. His look, it's unique. And I don't know. He did make a good dance partner though here with Vader, did he not?
Yeah, but he just got there.
Yeah.
You need to get him some momentum, and you know how you get momentum? Get some wins.
Yeah.
Don't just put him in a match you're going to have a DQ right off the get-go.
I think you just answered our next listener's question right there. He says, why didn't Davey Boy Smith, a wrestling historian, why didn't Davey Boy Smith become WCW champion in your opinion? Thanks in advance. Did they ever prepare the audience for him properly?
I don't think there was ever plans for that.
Well, buddy, let's talk about your match on this card. It's the semi-main event of the evening. It's you and Barry Windham. You'd wrestle for the NWA title. This match only lasted 11 minutes, and it was back and forth, hard-hitting, very physical. We're going to watch this one together, discuss the match along the way. Our fourth clip of the week, it's Arn's only pay-per-view world title shot of his career. Slamboree 1993, Arn Anderson, Barry Windham. Here we go, Arn. We're going to listen in for the first little bit, and then we'll talk through it.
Okay.
This really has to be, if you think about it, the biggest night in the career of Arn Anderson, no question about it. But in many ways, the biggest night in the career of Barry Windham. His father, Blackjack Mulligan, competed earlier on. His father is watching. Barry's first world title defense with his father in attendance, and here we go.
Well, Barry Windham, second generation wrestler, but the whole world is watching, Tony. That's the key factor here.
Arn Anderson try to get a quick one, and why not?
So, Arn, we're going to talk about this one a little bit. This is your world title shot on pay-per-view. Is there anything that you recall? Again, I know this is a very long time ago as we sit here, 1993. We're in 2023. Anything that you can remember maybe about this night, talking to Barry, working this match with him?
Well, this is the Omni, correct?
Yes, sir.
And my buddy, Pee Wee Anderson, is the referee, who I've been best friends with forever. That and being in the Omni and wrestling for the world title and wrestling Barry Windham that's enough motivation for anybody, I would think.
It doesn't get any better than that, Arn. And, the big gold is what we see there. And you've said it before, whether you won the world championship or didn't, obviously you never won the world, but that didn't matter to you, did it?
No, it did not. One of my goals was be the guy that everybody in the other locker room wanted to work with. Be the guy that if they needed somebody to step into the main event or the first match, you were the guy that could pull it off. That was my aspirations. And in this match, it was stick to my own style, play to Barry's style, make him look like the world champion, and he would make me look like possibly I could be the world champion. But the main thing is just sell and do your job and get the audience into what hopefully is a legitimate world title match.
As we watch this together, Arn, there is really no one with a big-time advantage here. It's a lot of back and forth that we're going to see here, and it's a lot of hard-hitting wrestling between the two of you. You've talked about it before. Barry Windham was just what? He was a breeze to work with.
Oh, he was great. 6'6", whatever he was, 6'5", 6'6", 260, and smooth as silk.
And you guys, did you like this rampway, being able to have this ability to work on the ramp? This is where you two are at now, the ramp that led from the back all the way to the ring. Are you a fan of this look?
Yeah, because we weren't going to do anything crazy. We weren't going to suplex anybody up there or power slam anybody.
What I enjoyed about it as a fan is it kept us, especially if you're not on the floor, but if you're in the 100 or 200 level or whatever the case may be, you can still see everything that's going on. Not like when you're outside of the ring and maybe in different corners of working around the guardrails, you can see what's going on the ramp.
Yeah. Well, so you're looking at it from a fan's point of view, which is the most important one that we should consider.
Yep, and you and Barry continue to exchange blows here. And we're going to see some stuff here because you guys, there's going to be a little bit of blood in this match from Barry Windham. Let's join in a little bit of the action here to see what Tony Schiavone has to say.
That means you're prone to make more mistakes.
Got a 2 count. And now Windham on the attack here. Anderson takes a spill, and yeah, you see Windham now. Fans are getting into this one here.
Oh, wait, elbowed him. Well, you're definitely not going to make Anderson any uglier.
That's bullshit, Larry.
Oh, Larry with a below-the-belt shot on commentary.
Nice.
Right hand. Oh, he got him over. Now, is there going to be a disqualification or not?
Well, Arn didn't throw him over. He just kind of shifted his weight.
And Arn was on the outside, not on the inside when that occurred.
Yeah, Arn couldn't throw him out. He was out. I tell you, here's a match Jimmy the Greek wouldn't even put odds on. This is a toss of the coin between these two men.
If you're wondering about the head to the top turnbuckle, and Windham's bleeding now, wondering about the head to the safety rail, and NWA rules, that is legal. WCW rules, head to the...
Well, obviously, it's not a safety rail for the wrestlers. Windham is cut open.
We've talked about this before, the confusion between NWA rules and WCW rules. Why?
Yeah, it never ceases either, does it?
Yeah, no.
It's always confusing.
Right. It's just don't make it confusing for us fans or the announcers who feel like they have to explain it every single time something happens. It's questionable.
Left hand. Rolls him up. We could have a new champion. No, we don't.
I tell you, from the position I can see, Windham's cut from here in the ring. It looks like it's going right down into his eye. And there's Anderson taking advantage of it. You have to do it. Anderson just can't sit there. He's got to go after it. So here's a smart move now. Don't waste your effort and time here. You got Windham hurt. Make him suffer. Make him go down slowly. He's got a big gash. I don't even know if he can see out of that eye.
Yeah. The very second Starcade, as a knee drops right across the throat. The second Starcade, the $1 Million Challenge. Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair for the world title. They stopped the match because of blood. Joe Frazier was the referee. That time Anderson may have hit his head on the apron going down.
Well, I couldn't see Anderson, but I saw one big eye the size of Barry Windham's head, and he nailed Anderson. Anderson's holding his knee. You know, it wasn't too long ago Anderson's knee was messed up.
That's right, he had arthroscopic surgery.
Well, Windham's face is a mess.
As Gordon Sully would say, it's a crimson mask.
Indeed.
You guys aren't holding back, Arn. This is physical.
Has to be. It's a world title match.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how much you lose. When that adrenaline's going, Tony,
he's lost a lot.
Just because that mat's on the floor, that's concrete, still solid, but.
Sorry, we just lost our place there. We're continuing it on here. He's outside the ring with you. What you're trying to say is that didn't feel like a mattress.
No, absolutely not. Still solid. It's still cement.
Yeah.
Just got the amateur pad on top of it. It didn't budge.
And referee Pee Wee Anderson trying to make the count. You guys are coming back into the ring. Man, Barry is a bloody mess.
Yes, he is.
You got to be Superman. Oh.
Windham got him. The NWA champion in the fight of his life. Kind of like a half mask, like the Phantom of the Opera.
I was going to say, it's so thick, it looks like he's wearing a mask.
Still light on his feet, though, and the NWA champ, the Lone Wolf. What a battle. 1-2. Arn Anderson's up.
You can see Windham trying to wipe the blood out of his eye. I mean, he can't see. I can't see his eye. And Anderson, he's no member of the clergy. When he gets in trouble, he's going to take all the cheap shots he can. You know, in fact, really, Anderson, I don't think he wants Windham to bleed. If the referee stops it, there goes the belt.
There when he's back, too. Trying to pick him up. Couldn't do it. Windham! 1, 2! No!
Well, Windham, you know, he's 6'6". He's tall to pick him up in certain positions. If Windham throws his legs out there, he knows how to use his balance. He's a tough man to pick up.
This match is everything we thought it would be, and more.
There's so much emotion, you know, in these guys. I can't explain it, although I can feel it because I've been there. Oh, he's got spine buster him!
The fans erupt! That's his move! He needs to cover Barry Windham, but Windham rolls outside.
Smart move.
It was a smart move.
Windham, I don't see how Windham can see.
He's got his NWA belt. Is he going to leave? What's going on here?
Well, maybe they're going to stop it because of the blood. I don't know.
Windham's walking away with his NWA belt. After that spine buster, he's had enough. Down goes Randy Anderson.
Well, Anderson's certainly not going to let it end like this.
Sending Windham back in. That surely would have been a count out. They were both out there for a long time. Windham in. The bleeding has basically stopped now. Thank goodness for him. Anderson pushing the referee around. He better watch himself here. He doesn't want to get
he's coming close. He's coming real close.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think he should have done that.
And he realizes that.
It's too late to say you're sorry. Uh-oh. Oh!
The belt! Anderson's out cold! The referee's gonna count! This one's over!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and still NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Barry Windham!
What are your thoughts on after seeing the way that finished all these years later?
Old-fashioned screw job. It worked, right? What do you think?
I enjoyed it. Knowing that's the only time, though, that you would fight for the world title on pay-per-view as a fan of yours. I would just obviously wishing for a different outcome for you and as a fan of yours, but it is what it is. Barry gets the heat, and it keeps you strong, right? It took the world title belt to knock you out for the pin.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think I'd ever been pushed or used, or the build to that match was anybody thought I was going to win, to be honest with you. I think everybody thought that Barry was going to retain. And once that's the case, and I wasn't really a babyface either, if you think about all those outside things that you figure into it, it's not like you had a babyface that they were really behind. If it had been Barry and Steamboat, or you know what I mean, one of those Barry and Sting or whoever.
A babyface to their caliber of babyface.
That's a top shelf babyface that they want to get behind. I was just a heel, kind of put in that role just because Barry was kind of healing at the time. I don't know that they really were mad at Barry even. So
he uses that world title against his former stablemate. It's very symbolic. And of course, we know this does all lead to a confrontation eventually between Windham and Flair, right? So they have you here. Flair can't wrestle at this point, but it's creating that friction between Flair's right-hand man until Flair is ready. Listen, following this pay-per-view, though, you and Flair continued your program with the Hollywood Blondes. And what better way to close down your show than with the promo that continued this simmering issue? It's our fifth and final clip of the week. Let's listen to the message you had for Austin and Pillman on the May 29th episode of WCW Saturday Night. Again, 5/29/93. Here we go.
We are back on TBS, and there's no question here on TBS the last couple of months we've witnessed the rebirth of the Four Horsemen. Clash of the Champions comes your way on June 17th right here on TBS. We talked about a tremendous announcement concerning tag team action. Arn, why don't you tell us some more about it?
Well, Tony Giovanni, it appears to me that Brian Pillman and Steve Austin think Ric Flair and myself are about 75 years old. You see, they've mistaken ring knowledge, ring leadership, ring generalship for age in years. Well, gentlemen, let me explain something to you. We're not ready for words to be spoken over us just yet. You see, there's an old cliche. You never wake up a sleeping giant. But with all your braggadocious trash talking on the Flair for the Gold, you awoke a couple. You see, the mystery is now over. Everybody's been wanting to know when Ric Flair is going to put the tights back on. In Norfolk, Virginia, he's going to put them on at the Clash of Champions as my partner. And rest assured of one thing, the Four Horsemen didn't get their reputation for shoving drunks around in a bar or kids on a playground. We earned it by wrestling the very best and beating the very best. And in Norfolk, you're just going to be two more on our resume.
Thursday, June 17th, Ric Flair returns with Arn Anderson against the Hollywood Blondes as we go back to action.
It's official, Arn. Arn and Rick versus the Hollywood Blondes, set up for Clash of the Champions. And you two plan on teaching these punks a lesson. How excited are you that finally Flair's going to be back and you guys can finally start from giving promos to now start wrestling together once again?
Things are looking up. It was a happy time. It's going to be good. We knew we would tear the joint down with those guys.
We got 3 questions to finish the show from our listeners, and then we'll wrap up. Brad Stanton says, I know you have probably discussed it before, but did you think there needed to be an NWA and a WCW championship? I know there's lots of titles today, but your thoughts on which was the bigger title, because the NWA represented all the territories at one time, and WCW was exclusive.
Just one title. It's just there's always been too many. One makes that one mean even that much more, my opinion. Even that applies today in whatever company you're talking about. The less titles you have, the more value that they have.
Matt S. has a question regarding the Slamboree Legends matches. He said, what's the best way to lay out a Legends match without exposing the limitations of those involved?
It is going to be what it is.
Right.
Whatever you can get, if you can talk them into doing just the few things they're remembered for, and leave it at that. Don't try to do something that you're not qualified to do. It doesn't matter that you are a legend and a Hall of Famer. If you do something badly, kind of takes a damper off on the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't be trying to throw drop kicks like you used to 20 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, let it go. Finally, our pal Terrell Lewis said, Flair came back shortly after Pillman and Austin were put together. What does the founder of the Four Horsemen think of the idea of those 2 young guys being horsemen instead of what we got, and having them sit under the learning tree of Flair and Anderson?
Sitting here thinking about it right now, probably been a brilliant idea.
I couldn't agree more. And again, we're doing that armchair quarterbacking, but my God, especially when you consider what they went on to do in their careers, especially Austin. Brilliant move.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. Good call, kiddo.
Yeah, good. There you go, Terrell. Hey, listen, that's going to wrap us up for this week's episode. Next week, we're going to move forward in Arn's career as we discuss June 1993. You and Flair are going to challenge Pillman and Austin in a 2 out of 3 falls match at the Clash. Barry Windham sets his sights on the Nature Boy. You and Roma start teaming together, Arn, working towards a World Tag Team title shot. And we begin to build the Beach Blast 1993. One thing I want to mention before we get out of here, don't forget Arn's graphic novel. It's getting closer and closer to being completed. I'm not sure that you know this, Arn, but according to one of our faithful YouTube subscribers, Arn Anderson, My Life as Wrestling's Enforcer, has sold out for pre-order on Amazon. Can you believe that? Sold out on pre-order at Amazon, buddy.
Well, let's figure out how to get some more available. I don't like
the team is aware, but listen, that's how hot it is.
Let's reload.
Yeah, reload it. You heard us. Reload it. We have a lot of people that are anxiously awaiting for its completion, myself included. So listen, we cannot wait. It's coming, and it'll be here shortly. By the way, if your business targets 25 to 54-year-old men, there's no better place than to advertise right here with us on The Arn Show. You've heard us do ads for some of the same companies for years, and that's because it works. Go to advertisewitharn.com right now, and you can find out how Arn and I will talk about your product right here on The Arn Show. We love and appreciate our sponsors and are so thankful very much for them. Some of you listening to my voice right now had advertised with us on the show, and we can't thank you enough for your support. So check it out, advertisewitharn.com. And then don't forget about adfreeshows.com. You get early access to all the podcasts, at least a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts, starting at just $9 a month. So start your free trial now. Go to adfreeshows.com and find out what all the buzz is about. Arn, thank you so much for doing this with me this week.
Thank you, buddy. It's always a pleasure.
You got it. On behalf of the Hall of Famer, Arn Anderson, this is Paul Bromwell, and we'll see you right back here next week on Arn.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett here to tell you about SaveWithConrad.com. You've heard Conrad talk about the total nonstop savings they've provided current homeowners. But did you know Conrad and his team can also help my world listeners become homeowners? They make buying a home easier than getting the bag after a good housekeeping match. But don't take the Last Outlaw's word for it.
Franklin Dove, Orlando, Florida. After listening to all of Conrad's podcasts and hearing the different stories that he shared, I felt the time was right for me to explore buying a home again, and reached out, and one thing led to another, and finally closed last week. It was excellent. Everything flowed smoothly from my first contact. I just put in the initial request online. Francis reached out. We started the application process, got the approval moving. Holly was great. Larry Thompson was amazing. Everything was smooth. Communication was perfect. Really, it was a much better experience than anything that I could have imagined. My name is Franklin Dove in Orlando, Florida, and I got into my dream home thanks to SaveWithConrad.com.
That's right. In my world, it doesn't get any better than 5 stars. Don't let your landlord get over on you. Walk out on that bad deal and stop throwing your money away on rent today with SaveWithConrad.com. That's right. It's SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!